Okay, it's 3 o'clock, so let's start. Welcome to all the students interested in the programs Bachelor Actuarial Science and Bachelor Econometrics of the University of Amsterdam. My name is Hans van Oppem. I'm the program director of the Bachelor Econometrics. Also present are Umut Khan, program director of the Bachelor Actuarial Science, and Maurice Koster, first year coordinator of both programs. And also we have 3 students, Daphne, Hartono, and Lois, who will give their views at the end of this presentation. What I'm going to do today is discuss the following. I will first start with a brief introduction of about 10, perhaps 15 minutes. Then Daphne will tell something about her experiences with our program from a student's point of view. Then Hartono will do the same. And finally, Lois will say something especially about our study association, the VSAE. It's also possible to ask questions, but please use the chat. Also, make sure that you mute yourself, otherwise the presentation will be very, very messy. Yeah. So if you have a question, please use the chat. At the end, we'll start trying to answer your questions. Okay, so let's start with a quick overview. We have, on the one hand, actuarial science, on the other hand, econometrics. And actuarial science, let's first try to define what that's all about. It's about applying mathematical and statistical methods to assess risk, insurance, finance, and related fields. Yeah, so it's really related to insurance and finance. Econometrics is doing the same thing, applying mathematical and statistical methods to understand and predict economic relations and dynamics, and that from that point of view, perhaps it's a little bit more general actuarial science, which really concentrates on insurance and finance. The econometrics program offers 2 tracks, econometrics and data science. I'll come to that later. If you finish either one of these programs, then, and you want to start working at that point of time, then quite likely you will end up in a bank or in an insurance company, pension funds, all kinds of consultancies, firms, industry, government, etc. Actually, basically anywhere an economist can work. The bachelor at the University of Amsterdam. So we talking here about actuarial science and econometrics, and it looks like there is some relation there. Well, for sure there is. The first 2 years are in common, so exactly the same. Only in the 3rd year you will start to specialize. On top of that, and this is very much the consequence of what I said just before, it's both programs demand the same level of quantitative skills. They are both very challenging, etc. Yeah. So these are tough programs, to put it differently, but there's a benefit as well. There is an excellent payoff. You might wonder, in the present difficult situation of COVID-19, what we're going to do next year. Well, hopefully we'll be able to do the teaching in Amsterdam at our faculty, but to be honest, I expect that we need to start with online teaching, and we are fully prepared to do so, actually. Yeah, so for the first semester, we are at the moment already preparing online teaching. Perhaps it's not necessary, and you can come to Amsterdam. Then we prefer to do physical teaching here on the faculty, but if that's not possible, we're fully prepared. If you look at our program, we have our 1st year, 2nd year, and 3rd year. Our bachelors are 3-year programs. The first 2 years are in common. We have a year where you prepare basically for the 2nd year courses, because you need a lot of mathematics and statistics, and also some background in economics to be able to understand both actuarial science and econometrics. Then in the third year, you will specialize. Then you either choose for the Bachelor Actuarial Science, and then you specialize for 1 year, or you choose for the Bachelor Econometrics. And it's again, you specialize in that direction. And there within this Bachelor Econometrics, you can either choose for econometrics as a specialization or data science as a specialization. These bachelor programs are 3-year programs. If you want to go on to a master, that's possible. If you have a Bachelor of Actuarial Science, you will be admitted to the Master of Actuarial Science and Mathematical Finance at our faculty. And the same holds for the Bachelor Econometrics. If you have this bachelor, then you will be admitted to the Master in Econometrics. In fact, you will also be admitted to another master, the Master in Data Science and Business Analytics, which we will start up from September 1st. Let's have a look at the first year. Let me first explain the system we have. So every educational year is split up in 2 semesters. The first semester starts, say, at about September 1st and lasts until February 1st. And then each semester is built up from 3 periods, blocks as we call it. The first block, which is basically 8 weeks, 6 weeks of taking classes, 1 week to prepare exams. In the final week, you do an exam. And after that, the second block starts again 8 weeks. But the third block is only 4 weeks. And you can see there's only 1 course scheduled there. And it's a more practical course usually. Well, if you look at the courses you have to do in the first semester, it's basically, well, mathematics and statistics, and a part of the introduction into economics, macroeconomics and microeconomics. And on top of that, we will offer you a skills and tutoring course where you learn certain skills you really need to be able. You learn to use the library, etc., etc. In the Introduction to Econometrics and Actuarial Science course, you first will have a first look into what econometrics is really all about, and the same holds for actuarial science. But before we can start with this course, you already need to know something about mathematics and statistics at a relatively high level, because both econometrics and actuarial science require a lot of mathematical and statistical skills. In the second semester, you go on basically with mathematics statistics. You have mathematics 2, basically on linear algebra, and you have probability statistics 2. Apart from that, you have an economics course, finance, and you have again, basically a mathematics course, but applied mathematics, you could say programming and numerical analysis course. We close the first year with an introduction into data science, data pre-processing. Well, if you look at this, then actually it's quite easy to see there's a lot of mathematics and statistics going on here. We have 60 credits every year. Half of this number, 30 credits, are devoted to mathematics and statistics. 18 EC is on economics and 12 EC is on orientation. That's either orientation in econometrics, actuarial science, and data science. And actually, these courses, requires you to know about mathematics, statistics, for instance. It's less the case in economics. In total, we have 16 EC and 10 courses, each of 6 EC. I have to warn you, we have a binding study advice. You need to earn at least 48 EC in the first year. If you don't, you're not allowed to study on. So you have to leave the program. This is quite demanding, but 60 to 70% of our students are able to actually earn these 48 or more credits. Second year then, again, we will have to do a lot of mathematics, mathematics 3, mathematics 4, but also probability and statistics 3. And in the first period, there's also an introduction. Well, it's not really an introduction anymore, but an explanation on one of the important issues in actuarial science, life insurance. And it's even called life insurance mathematics suggestion. That's again, heavily quantitative. We closed this semester by a data science course called Statistical Learning, which will explain you basically about machine learning, how to use machine learning to analyze data. Then in the second semester, we'll have an introduction in econometrics and an advanced course in econometrics, econometrics 1 and econometrics 2. We have mathematical economics 1, which is a course that introduces you into mathematical economics, you could say, but that's doing economics using mathematics, basically. Then risk theory is, again, an actual science course and well, informs you about, well, how to measure risk, to quantify risk, how to deal with it, etc. The final period of the year, second year, is an empirical project where you will apply the things you learned in the econometrics, actual science, and data science courses to a practical situation. Yeah? So you will actually analyze data and have to write a report on it and present, etc. And that's what we do in the empirical project. Then the third year is the specialization year. And I will start off with the econometrics course, and this is the track econometrics. At that point, you have to make 1 out of 3 choices. You either choose for actual science, or you choose econometrics, or you choose data science. I first concentrate on econometrics, and in a moment I will discuss the others. The first semester is the period where you can choose some electives, or you can do a minor, or you can study abroad, or you can do an internship. That's your own choice, what you want to do here. Well, if you want to do, for instance, study abroad for some time, we offer facilities to actually do that. Although be aware that you really should start working on that quite early. In the second semester, then we actually start finishing the education by offering really specialized courses. You either you do mathematics, economics 2, and time series analysis. That's the econometrics part. And you also have to choose from either applied machine learning or business analytics. Be aware that these last 2 courses, applied machine learning and business analytics, this is still only the preliminary course name. It might still change there. Finally, you have to write a bachelor thesis of 12 EC to finish the bachelor. Data science track, the same thing in the first semester, so I will not explain that anymore. In the second semester, you have to do both applied machine learning and business analytics. Again, perhaps these names will change, but there will be courses there which are really on data science or business analytics. And you also have to do time series analysis. Then, final thing is the bachelor, which in this case will, of course, be on data science, because here you've chosen for the data science track. And finally, the third year of actuarial science. In the first semester, basically the same, except that you cannot do an internship there. Yeah, so it's possible to choose some electives. You can do a minor, you can study abroad, but an internship at the moment is not yet possible. In the second semester, you again specialize really on actuarial science, and you do a financial accounting and life insurance course, stochastic models in life insurance, and you do a research seminar to prepare you for the bachelor thesis. The program is finished by the bachelor thesis, where you have to show that you indeed understand actuarial science, basically. Why should you choose for the University of Amsterdam? Well, first of all, we offer an English program, and we have a really international atmosphere. It's Amsterdam. The actuarial science is actually quite unique. We are the only university in the Netherlands that offers actuarial science, and especially the master as a follow-up. We offer a combination with data science, so both econometrics and data science, and we postpone the choice until after the second year. At that point, you have to choose, so it's rather late, but then you already have you can get an introduction in all these fields. Whatever choice you make here, the career prospects are excellent, both money-wise as in the chances of getting a job. Furthermore, we have a very active student union, the VSAE. Lois will tell you more about that later. We are very enthusiastic, we believe. There's a lot of study support. And finally, of course, lots of students think that Amsterdam is a very interesting place to study, and we can only agree with that opinion. Good to know. Well, the application deadline is already quite close, June 1st, and this is actually the deadline for the Netherlands and for the European Union. But given the present situation, there are exceptions, and well, have a look at the website, see what's possible. We should also stress that we really recommend you to participate in UvA matching. It's not compulsory, but it gives you an idea whether you're suitable for our programs. Yeah, so if you have the right mindset, etc., etc. So it's not mandatory this year, usually it is, but because of the difficult situation, this year it isn't, but we recommended this highly. See the website for more information. It's also possible to chat with current students if you want via Instagram or the website or whatever. Please refer to the UvA website. Then I'm basically done with my presentation, so I will ask actually three students to say something about the student's perspective. I'll start off with Daphne, then Hartono, and Lois will say something especially on the student association, study association we have. Daphne, can you take over the floor?
Yeah. Well, hi everyone. My name is Daphne. I am currently in the third year of Bachelor Econometrics. So I'm currently writing my thesis, and I hope I will finish my bachelor next month. Well, approximately 4 years ago, I was, I think, in the same situation as you are now, because I had to choose what I wanted to study. But of course, you are dealing with the coronavirus now. That's very bad, of course. But I was really in trouble. I had no idea what I wanted to study or what kind of job would seem nice to me in the future. So I decided to study economics and business in the first place, because the study is really broad. So there's always a course that you like, and actually it was quite nice. It was interesting and I did well and I liked it, but I had a feeling that I was missing something. Actually, that was mathematics. So of course, in economics, there are also some mathematics courses, but there were only a few. So at the end of the first year, I decided I wanted to switch over to econometrics. And until now, I have no regrets. I still really like the economics courses, but most courses, especially in the first 1.5 years, are really about mathematics and statistics. And I really like it because it's a really good mixture of everything. So you first start to learn the basic principles of mathematics and statistics, and later on you are going to apply it, and you use a lot of programming, etc., to apply everything you learn. So you really start to understand why you learn something, and I really like it. So I think I'm in the right place now. I hope you will make the right choice too. Currently, I'm planning on starting my master in September with a track in data science and business analytics. I think that really is not advantage of the UvA, but a lot is about data science, and you really get the opportunity to practice a lot, because almost every subject there is you have to hand in something that you did in MATLAB or R or any programming language. So you really gain a lot of knowledge with using your computer, actually. And of course, I hope for all of you that some things will be in real life next year instead of online, because that will make it better, of course. But if everything you just heard sounds nice to you, I think you're in the right place now. Well, if you have any questions about the study econometrics or anything that has to do with it, student life, or I don't know, anything, you can of course ask me. But also, if you are still in doubt whether to choose, for example, economics or econometrics, or you want to know something about the differences, I think I am in the position to help you answering these questions. So of course, ask me. Well, yeah, I think it was my story. But if you have any questions, feel free to ask me.
Yeah, but better use the chat for the time being.
Yeah, of course.
Let's
Yeah.
ask Hartono to give his point of view. Hartono, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Van Offen. Hi, I'm Hartono. As you might have noticed, because of the dark setting, I'm back in my home country because of the current situation. And I'm actually a third year of actuarial science. And I've been living in the Netherlands for the past 4 years. Well, you are all welcome to ask any questions that are related to perhaps anything from like moving to the Netherlands and stuff from on the group chat. I would be very happy to answer from then on. And perhaps some overview why I choose actuarial science at the first place. Perhaps like 4 years ago, back home in Indonesia, the field actuarial science, it was a hot cookie. It still is, but I'm really grateful that the UvA kind of gave this flexibility of like this joint program of having 2 years of studying both actuarial science and econometrics. So like after the second year, I was even more solidified to choose my major in actuarial science. And I think it is because it is really statistical, and in a lot of cases in our classes, yeah, it is also very practical, as in like we deal with a lot of like real life cases, and it's just, yeah, it gives you like a lot of like satisfying feelings when learning about it. And perhaps to end this note, I would very much advise you guys to join the VSAE. The VSAE, it's the organization of econometrics and actuarial science student. Last year in November, I was partially sponsored to go to Singapore to meet a lot of multinational companies, and it was a lot of fun. So besides of like VSA would give you like a lot of like connections, friends, it's just also like a gateway for you like for like cool jobs ahead. And I think that's it.
Thank you, Hartono. Then let's give the floor to Lois.
Well, hi everyone, I'm Lois and I'm a board member of the study association VSAE, and Hartono already mentioned it, but some of you might already know what a study association is and others don't. So I'll tell you something about it. A study association main focus is the students. So as the VSAE, we try to be there for actuarial econometric students and actuarial science students. And we try this by like 3 points. One thing we focus on is the study. So as a member of the VSAE, you can get a discount on tutoring. So that's really nice. So if you need help with any course, or you think a course is really difficult, we can help you with that. Next up is social. Normally we would organize a lot of events. Due to Corona, it's not really possible, but most of the time we would have like monthly burls, monthly drinks. And yeah, I really miss that, but it's so much fun because you meet your fellow students and it's always so fun, and we just chat about the study and friendships are made. And next to the burls, we also have like things like the boat trip or a skiing trip, or as Hartono told, like last year we went to Singapore, so it's really, really great. And next to that, yes, next to that, we also want you to focus on your career. So VSAE also helps you like building your career. We also have like events, then we go to companies and we'll see what it's like to work there. And yeah, it's really nice. And the best thing is the membership only costs you 20 euros. So that's not really a lot of money, especially because the membership will take 4 years. And if you're not interested in all the things I just told you, we also have like a discount on study books. And even when you buy your first book, the discount is already more than 20 euros. Dus if you don't like, okay, I don't want to party, I don't want to study things, you definitely want the study books. So become a member, it's really nice. And yeah, that's it, I guess. If you have any questions, you can ask me.
Okay, thank you, Lois. Well, please put your questions in the chat. The problem now for me is that at some point I lost connection and I reopened the chat now and some questions are simply gone. But I will try to answer at least some of them. There was one question on the job differences if you choose for econometrics or data science. I think the differences are not that large. Actually, if you look at the programs, it's basically for a large part very common elements. So what can be the difference? Of course, you display your interest. If you choose for data science, you display your interest in data science, and quite likely you will try to find a job which is more in line with data science than is econometrics. But in essence, you end up in a job where you need a lot of quantitative, mathematical, and statistical skills. And it does not really matter whether you come from a background of data science or econometrics, would be my guess. Another question I remember was the question from one of a Dutch student who did VWO with the nature and technical or something profile. And I think Maurice Koster already answered it. In that profile, it's often not possible to do economics, but that's not a problem because we start economics from the start, from really the beginning. So it's not important if you did economics in high school. I don't remember any other questions. I think there was one more question, but let's start with how we can contact Daphne. Daphne, can you answer that one? I guess VSAE? You...
Mute? Yeah. Yeah, you can of course send me a chat now. Yeah. Yeah, I think you can chat me now.
Yeah, you can. You can
maybe,
also
yeah,
use. You can use the chat window to send private messages.
Okay.
So students who want to contact Daphne directly, they can send her a private message and chat with her privately.
Maybe if you want to think about your question and you don't know it already, you can send us an email to info@vsae.nl and we can resend the email to Daphne. So that would work also.
Yeah, problem solved, I think. Great. Next question. Will be good. We start early. Okay. Are there still many? Oh, that was on internship. Later was corrected, I believe. Yes, there's this question basically. Are there still many opportunities about internship for econometric students, although they don't graduate yet? Yes, well, as long as you don't graduate, you can do an internship. Yeah, as if you graduate, if you have your bachelor degree, you're no longer a bachelor student and you no longer can do a bachelor internship. And still, if you're going to do a master, it's possible to do a master internship usually, although that's not an official part of the program of the master usually. Yeah, I think that answers the question. Would you consider the econometric study as a mainly precise study, or does the economics part make it a social study? Maurice, can you answer that one? Maurice is gone. Oh no.
No, I'm here. Well, of course, if you consider the pure econometrics, then this will have mainly an exact character in the sense that you will be applying statistics and mathematics. But of course, you apply it to problems from real life, and we discuss economics as such. So, of course, economics has a social part, but it's mainly about quantifying relationships in economics. So I don't know if this answers your question, but yeah, okay.
Great. Next question is, we probably start the bachelor online because of Corona. Well, that you're probably right. There have been many changes in the BSI rules in our binding study advice or in other studies. Will there also be changes regarding the BSI rules for this bachelor? Well, this present year, the BSI rules were simply abolished. They will not be implemented. For next year, I cannot guarantee that. But of course, if the situation will be that we have to do digital courses, we have to be lenient one way or another. So quite likely something will happen there. I cannot guarantee this because that's not our decision. That's the decision of the management of the faculty. This year they decided to abolish these BSA rules, but they did not announce that they will do so for next year. So I expect that they will be lenient, but I cannot give a guarantee. That's basically it. Erik, Zion, like, is it whole hard number statistics or verb? It's numbers. Let me try to answer it. It's mainly numbers, although some courses, in the end, it's about economics, yeah, or insurance, etc. You should be able to explain things to other people as well. So we'll train you to put it in words or do presentations as well, yeah. But most courses are really on mathematics, statistics, or related issues, and not so much on, well, speaking a lot of words, let's put it that way. Yeah, so we can often do the same thing with mathematics as we can do with putting things in words.
Hans, shall I answer the question about the language?
Sure.
There are a couple of questions about English versus Dutch program. Well, as far as content is concerned, these programs are identical. But for the Dutch, we have the possibility to choose the Dutch program, which means that whenever it's possible, you will be assigned to a Dutch working class. Yeah, so you can ask your questions in Dutch. So that's mainly the difference. This also holds for people, for international students. They also may enroll in a Dutch program, but it's less likely that people understand what Dutch is about. So, but basically the programs are identical in both languages. And in the first semester, we will have also exams in Dutch for the Dutch, but in the second semester we will have lectures in English also for the Dutch, and the exams will in general also be in English. But the working classes, so the actually low-level groups where you meet up with others, they are still in Dutch.
Thank you, Maurice. How is living in the Netherlands? I see Hortono already answered that one, but let's ask Umut to answer this one as well, because he comes from another country than the Netherlands, and he might have an opinion as well. Umut.
It's very pleasant to live in the Netherlands, which is why I'm here, which is why a lot of international students choose to come here. Yeah, there are some challenges, of course. Whenever you move to a new country, you have to adapt to new rules and so on. But there are a lot of international students already at the university who will be happy to help you get settled. I'm sure the VSAE will also be happy to help you get settled and get used to the Dutch environment. Well, one challenge I can think of in particular is the challenge of housing, finding housing in Amsterdam. That tends to be a bit expensive. So for some students, it might be a bit challenging. But yeah, other than that, living in the Netherlands, I would say is pretty pleasant. But I don't know if any of our students, Daphne or Hartono, have anything to add to this from a student's perspective.
Yeah, I think from my side, the things that Professor John has mentioned, it is all true. And as a student, I really enjoy my time in Amsterdam. I've made a lot of friends, and I've been occupied with like a lot of fun stuff, like going to festivals, drinking beers in the monthly borrels, and you know, all the facilities are just great in the Netherlands, as at least compared to my home country. And yeah, perhaps what's notable here from international student perspective towards like Dutch people, they are very warm, they're very welcome, and they have a perfect command in English. So yeah, don't worry to move to the Netherlands. It would take a while for you like to feel that you're home.
Antonio, can I ask you to say something about how much time you spend on your studies versus drinking beers?
Of course, like I do spend a lot of my time in the library, reading the finishing all the readings, and also like practicing with all the questions. And I think most of the day I would spend at least 6 hours in school, but that pretty much leave a lot of time to have fun, to do some sports in the USC, in the fitness center. And also we have, yeah, coming again to the beer, like we have 2 nice small bars near our school. And yeah, like it's the study and the life balance is just perfect for me. That's pretty much it, Professor Koster.
Lois, Daphne, can you answer the same question? How much time do you spend on your studies?
Well, I do not have an exact amount of time, but I also saw a question about, are you still able to sport or work throughout the week? Yes, of course you are. Yeah, it's not like your whole life is about studying. Of course, you have to do it almost every day, but yeah, I do sports almost every day, and I still have 2 jobs and friends, etc. So don't worry about that. As long as you make sure you do enough, you have enough time to relax. Yeah. I think that holds for everyone.
Lois, do you want something to add?
Yeah, I don't think you have to worry about spending too much time on the study, because like for example, I think in my first year I probably went to all VSAE activities, and I still had a part-time job, and I still managed to get the 60 points. So you can do a lot next to the study, so don't worry about that.
Okay, well, let me stress, as a responsible person in the program, of course, it's a full-time program. So basically we expect you to work on your econometrics or actual science 38 hours a week or something, yeah? And that includes going to classes and preparing for exams, etc. But 38 hours a week is a lot, but still you have plenty of time to do other things. Yeah, so I think for sure it's possible to do sports. Maybe it's possible to work, but okay, for some it's possible. But that's all up to you, of course. How much time do you need to spend? In the end, it's a demanding program. I think this one, are the seminars provided in Dutch? The first year, yes. Later, no. It's already answered by Maurice Koster. Usually, do students prefer working at the company directly or studying for an MSc degree? Well, most students will go on with the master without first working, but there are always exceptions. But still, I think 85% of our bachelor students in econometrics, and it's even a higher number in actuarial science, will go on with the master. That one we already answered. What sport clubs are offered by UvA? Okay, well, I know this University Sports Center, where you can basically do any sport you like. But this question, because I don't live in Amsterdam, is much easier answered by one of the students, I guess. I don't know, Daphne, Lois?
Well, I am not sporting in Amsterdam, but I know that besides the USC, where you can do anything you like, you have like infinitely many sports associations, so student sports associations. So it's not necessarily related to the UvA. Most of the time it is, but even if it isn't, you can very easily go to that club and become a member. So yeah.
So no problem there. Anyone wants to add something? If not, let's proceed to the next. Also, does data science require proficient computer programming skills? Yes. That's a very simple answer. There is attention to developing computer programming skills. Be aware that we offer a program which is not completely directed to programming. Yeah, that's the difference with a data science program on a information science faculty. We are in the economics faculty, and we are in the end interested in economic problems. Yeah, and for sure you will learn how to program, but it's not the main issue in our program. Yeah, so okay. Which international baccalaureate math courses is better for actuarial science? Maurice, I guess, or Umut?
I think you need the highest one of the two. Okay. And I thought that would be the AA level, but I'm not sure. This is something you need to check at the admissions office. But I thought it was AA. The thing is that there's a lot of mathematics courses, but we will definitely need the calculus part of it, right? So you need to know about differentiation, integration techniques, and this should be at, well, the Dutch level is VWO Mathematics B. But this is something that should be on the website at the admissions office.
Okay.
Math A, I want to add and to stress that Math A is not enough to enter our program. So you will definitely, there will be a check on your math level.
And it should be the higher level. That's basically.
It should be the higher level. Yeah.
Okay. How many contact hours are there per week? Well, Maurice, you should know, I guess.
Well, you start in the first teaching period. We have 6 hours for macroeconomics, which means 4 hours of lecture and 2 hours of practice. And then we have mathematics, the course that I teach, which covers 4 hours of lecture and 4 hours of working classes. And aside, we have the skill hours, which is also 2 hours. So in total, you would have about 16 hours. But I must say, this was in the physical world before COVID-19. So it may be organized differently, but this is something you can reckon with. So about 16 hours. And this is, of course, without preparation before going to the lecture. And also digesting the lecture is also not included. So this is online hours then.
Yeah. But that I think there's more contact hours in the first year than there is in the second and third year. So it's at some point it becomes your own responsibility study. In the first instance, we will help you a lot. Therefore, they have many contact hours. But if you proceed in the program, you will see that you will have to do much more on your own, or in a group of students if you prefer. But there's no well, there's still lectures, etc., but a little bit less than in the first year. Let's put it that way. Next question on someone who studied medical biology, and it's a long time since he or she, I don't know, did mathematics. Is that a problem? That's basically the answer. That's the question, sorry. The answer, okay, well, you need mathematics for sure, and you need to have, well, to know the basis of it. We explain a lot from the start, but the tempo we have is very, very quick. So I think you better prepare, but we do not offer a summer school, I believe. Maurice?
I was answering somebody else. Could you repeat the question?
Yeah, well, so someone did mathematics a long time ago because she studied something else. Is that a problem? That's basically the question.
Well, it depends. I mean, I would definitely start early to get those old knowledge back, because this may take a while. At least that's our experience with people who take a gap in or a kind of break using some kind of mathematics specialization, that it takes some time to recover this, and this can be done. There's numerous summer courses. Just as long as you take some Dutch summer course, which is at the level of VWO B, then you should be fine, I guess.
Yeah. So yeah. Thank you, Maurice. This question here. Well, I don't know where the claim comes from that our mathematics looks like mathematics A, but that's clearly not true. It's far much like mathematics B.
Oh, I know where this stems from. It's because in mathematics A there's some statistics.
Okay.
But it's definitely at another level than we offer it.
Yes.
How many students enter the course annually? Well, last year we had about 230 students, and it's almost half of are in the international program, and half are joining the Dutch program.
Okay, in high school, I did wiskunde D, mathematics D level, as well as wiskunde B. Will this help? For sure, it will help. The more you know about mathematics, the easier our courses will be, of course. It's not required that you do mathematics D or wiskunde D, but it always helps.
Oh, there's also a question by Daniela. What's the difference between econometrics at a specialization and operations research like it is offered at the VU? Well, we offer operations research courses, but usually the application is in the data science world. Could you add something to that, Hans?
Yeah, well, let me put it this way. We used to have operations research, but in the end, very few students were actually interested in that. So at some point, we decided that to change it basically to data science. There's still some operations research content in there, but on the other hand, it's different. So it's our choice, but operations research is no longer offered here. We do offer one or two courses specifically on operations research in our program. These are electives. but as such, we no longer have the specialization operations research, and simply due to the fact that very few students were interested in it. That's if I want to enlist myself to econometric StudyLink has asked me to a specialization between econometrics and business analytics. What does this mean? Well, you should distinguish our Bachelor in Econometrics program from the Bachelor in Business Analytics, which is a new program. Yeah. So at the moment, we hope to start this program at the University of Amsterdam September 1st, but at the moment, there's no guarantee that it will indeed start. And then basically you have to start with the Bachelor in Econometrics, which for 70% in the first year is the same. Yeah, so at the moment, it does not matter which one you choose, although I prefer you to choose econometrics.
I can add to this that it will not be established before the 1st of September, so that all people enrolling in this program, Business Analytics, will be directed to econometrics at the moment.
Is there numerous fixes for admission? Answer is very simple, no. Oh, well, there it is as well. Okay, is there any kind of pre-university summer class for econometrics or actuarial science? I'm afraid the answer again, very simple, no. I study applied mathematics at HBO. Will the first year of econometrics be a lot more difficult, or will the transition be okay?
The transition, we have experience with people doing this, and the experience is okay. It requires a different pace, though. There's definitely a difference between HBO and university in this respect. But as you specialize already in mathematics, most courses will definitely be not too difficult for you. So the transition in this sense is okay.
Okay, thank you. I think we are done with the questions in the chat at the moment, as far as I can see. So if any one of you still has a question, feel free to add them now, and then we'll try to answer it.
Also regarding the VSAE or Daphne or Tono.
I think, anyone? Okay. Thank you, Maurice. Is the bachelor program fully in Dutch? No, it's not. It's the first year can be done in Dutch, but the second and third year will be in English. Be aware that for Dutch students, that is usually no problem at all.
In this respect, I'd like to say that usually we attract people doing a nature and technique profile, and they don't have a specialization in languages, so to say. But usually these students are okay after half a year, because our study books are all in English. You get used to it, basically. And Erik is asking, are most teachers foreigners, or do most of them speak Dutch as well? Well, in the first year, there's a lot of Dutch teacher, but we have a growing international staff. So, okay, the majority of students international are Dutch, or it's about half of the students are international and half are Dutch.
Timo asked something about business analytics, but that cannot be at our university because the second year, well, we still need to start with business analytics. So you have to tell us which business analytics you do.
It might be the VU.
Yes. Well, let's assume it's the free university. Oh, AUA.
No.
No, that's
Wait.
not the question. But let's first answer then the question of Timo. As far as I understand it, assuming that you did business analytics at the VU, the free university, well, we need to see which courses can be exempted. There is no guarantee that you can immediately start in our second year. It really depends on what courses you took, what you did, and we need to compare. Yeah. I followed econometrics at AUI this year. Can I take the past courses to the first year? Well, to some extent, it's possible. We will simply compare what you did. If it's a comparable course in our program, then it's possible. But there is no guarantee. There might be some courses, but
No, Hans, I should correct you because it depends. If you didn't pass the BSA, then this is a different story.
okay.
You start from scratch.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a nuance I didn't see here. Anyone else? Or did we forget something? Please tell us one way or another. Well, use the chat. Might be that I skipped something. Well, wait half a minute, and then if no one reacts anymore, I think we can close this session.
Or maybe Louis, Daphne, or Tono want to add something? No?
No, I don't see any questions anymore, so I'm now gonna assume that we're done. Well, thank you all for your attendance. I hope you learned about our programs, and of course, I hope to be able to welcome you all in September. Perhaps not in person. We first have to start digitally, but well, we'll have to wait and see. Thank you for your attendance.